Hey, what's up? My name is Tom Mizu, watching my channel Mizu14, and I'm here doing a review of Iyanla Fix My Life. My father killed my mother. I know it's been a long time since I did the last video. It's been 2 weeks, but I'm back and I'm ready to start jumping into it. Now I know I'm behind with a lot of these videos, but I'm gonna get to it and just do as best as I can and get uploaded up, so you can be updated just as me. Now, this episode of Iyanla Fix My Life was emotional, but at the same time was very eye-opening for a lot of family out there, because the reason why I like this show so much is that she present problems and present stories that is like happening in everyday life. So imagine when you so young, 4 or 6 years old, in bed with your mom, and then all of a sudden your dad came and killed your mother. And it's like, as you could imagine how what that little boy going through is like, to not know what's going on, to see that his mother's dead body on the floor. And not only that night, he lost not only one parent, he lost both his parents, because after his mother died, his father had to go incarcerated. So I mean, his father's out now, but it's been like 30 something years since then. And Shane and Bo, Shane is the son, Bo is the father, haven't been really spoken to each other since then. So Shane has so many answers of why. It's like the answer is why. What led him to come that night, 5 or 7 in the morning, with a gun and kill his mother? What led to that? So that's the answer that he's going through. And then right now, Shane is like really enraged and anger. It's not so much about upset or hurt. He's anger. And he got so much rage about that, because he's like, he don't know. It's like all this time, and he still don't know the answer of what led to his father doing that. So most of the family together. Tanae is actually the granddaughter of Bo and Shane's niece. She the one who actually wrote to Iyanla to ask her for help for her family, because she was just like, she facing her own demons, and she drinks, and she has a son, and she just following the same kind of footsteps as her grandfather. So she just wanted to bury the hatchet and get the secrets out there, because it been swept under the rug. Nobody really say anything, and then Shane and Bo haven't been really getting along, so Shane don't really go to a lot of functions and stuff like that. It's been awkward to face the man right there who's living, and how can you face him when you know he did some horrible act, killing his mother? So it's like, how can you face someone like that? And what can you forgive? Are you willing to forgive someone like that? And I guess for order for them to heal, they had to forgive the process, not so much about what have done and what led him to it. So it was like, okay, so today she sat down with today. She said, "What's we need to do is the demons that the family's going through, the silence, the rage, the abandonment, the loneliness, anything that's happening is plaguing this family. It needs to get out. You need to break that demon, so your families could really have a bond and get to it." And the fact that she reached out to Iyanla is really helping to get her to the better track. So it started off basically with the full family got together, and then they went to, she said, in order for them to heal, now we need to go back to the past and with the beginning. So she had this little, like a mock funerals kind of arrangement with the casket there and everything. Everybody sat down, and when Shane got there, he never went to his mother's funeral. It was too much emotion for him to go through it at that time, so he never really gave a proper respect or proper goodbye to his mother. So when he got there, he just broke down and crying. I broke down crying too, because it's like, I can't believe how you grow up without nobody. You felt alone. You're abandoned, basically. It's like you don't have no parents at the time, so you need someone. And the fact that you can't call on to your parents, or you can't rely on them, because one was taken away from you prematurely, and other ones got arrested. It's like, it's so much for someone to be. So Shane is 40 years old now, and after 30 something years since that happened, he just can't stomach it. So he just had all that emotions out, and I feel for him then and say, we gotta understand that whatever emotion you feel, you valid. It's valid emotions, but you need to understand what is your end goal to it. What is his goal at the end of this day? Do he wants the relationship with his father? Do he wants to get the better understanding to have that relationship? Are he open to have that relationship with his father? Because Shane said that yes, he angry at his father, but he also want to understand what led him to be, like what led him to that night, and also learn his father, because he don't know his father. So he just wants to know how remorseful or how hurt or how what he done that he resent what he was doing. Though he got remorse for killing his mother. And that's all he wants. So that's the answer he needs to have with his father. So after she told Ayan spoke with Tanae, she sat down and talked to Shane, and she said, "Take me back that night." And he just explained to it that he just was in the bed with his mom and laying there. Then he get knocks on the door. The next minute he know, he heard 3 sparks going up, and then next minute he know, he saw a body laying down a doorway, which was his mother. And since then he just like so blinded, and that's when she realized that he has rage. It's like if he don't tackle that rage and that he's going into it, he could become his father, because there's a violence that happened at so young age to experience that domestic violence to extreme. And it's sometimes abusive relationship get to that point where it leads to one to kill another person. And that's why sometimes you can't know the signs early on. And also it was brought about that Bo at the time was drinking heavily. He was a lot of on drugs. So all that impact on what he was feeling at the time and what he was going through led him to that point. So he said he just wanna to figure out who his father is. And he also want to figure out who he is, because at 40-something years old, he still don't know, because he just stuck. That little boy in that body is stuck at a 60 years old child who's looking for answers. And now he's 40 and he's still, I don't know if he's married right now. I don't know if he got any kids and everything, but I could tell that it just stagnant him. Like his life has stopped growing since that night. That he never had none of his parents, so he had to grow up fending for himself. Without anybody, and he needed someone, and he can't rely on anybody. So he distanced himself from his family. So he just want to know how he can move past this. And all this is crazy that all he knows, that he said he did ask his father one time about what's going on, but his father said he don't know, and he was on drugs. He can't remember what really happened. So like that. So that's not a valid answer, because he want answers. And say I don't know is not excuse for Shane. He don't want to hear that. He needs to know exactly what led you to that point, Bo. And for you to get to that point, for getting to ask for forgiveness, you have to look at the cause, not the action. Yes, the action went to jail and stuff, but that's not what you need to forgive for. You need to forgive of the cause or what led you. Something in your body, something in your spirit led you to that point where it told you to take the gun, go to the house, don't even care about anybody else and who was at the house, and just did what you got to do. And that's what you need to dig deep. So Iyanla spoke to Bo, it's the father, and sit down and ask him exactly what led you to that point. And he basically said he don't know, and he basically said it was going on a lot back in the day. He was heavy on drugs, he was heavy on alcohol. At the time, him and his girlfriend, who was the mother of Shane, they broke up. At 5 o'clock in the morning, come to the house that night where he killed the mother. He said he was looking for sex, he was looking for anything. He just was so enraged and anger. So she asked him and said, "What was your upbringing for?" Because he was like, something in here broke and led you to that point. So what is it? And he said he don't know. She said, "Have you been taught that? Have you seen that?" Because sometimes when people are being abused or have seen violence going up, that's what they tend to fall on, and that's what they tend to know. So sometimes it could be a pattern. He said he never brought up into that. And she said, what? He never brought up, raised that father or a man hitting a woman. Well, she turned to kind of lie, because he then realized that he was abused by his own father. And that would led to him to familiarize himself of violence. That's what he known for, that's what he's seen, and nobody haven't taught to him, nobody have help him heal. So since he was never healed from that, that's what he led to that outcome because it was familiarity to him. It was comfortable for him to violence, to act on that violence of that night that he killed his girlfriend Shane's mother. So, so he doesn't really know much about that. But she said your body knows, but your mind tends to forget that. So you block that out. So you had to dig deep into learning the aspect, the learning what you need to do to gain the insight and understanding of what led you to that night. Because saying I don't know is not the answer. Shane needs to know answers. And so he said he been growing up with his father beating him. So when he had his sister Wanda came, no, yeah, sister Wanda came. She let some light that her father, their father, be beating them when they growing up with sticks, belts, anything. He would put out a gun on them. And I said, wow, that's a really abusive environment. So when Iyanla asked her, have you seen any violence of a man beating a woman? He said no, but it's technically your sister is right there, so that's a woman. So you have seen that happening. So, sorry. So for that happen, you see that happening. So he grew up in violence. So later on, it gave some more insight of what happened and how he became the person he is because his father never got help. Both fathers never got help the way he did. He's battling his demons by taking on his children, and now Bo followed his father's footsteps by doing whatever he did at that night to kill the love of his life. Like he said he loved Shane's mother, and he do misses her, and he adored her. He if he would take it back, he would never have did that. But he said he can't take back what he done, and he know he had to pay the price of exactly knowing that he did what he did. And after the season's bowl, you could tell he really feeling he really feeling remorseful, and he feel sorry for what he have done. Because you can't tell that somebody who's that cold calculated who will do something like that. Because somebody who don't really give a damn wouldn't care about nobody's feelings. But look at Bo, you can tell that he really wants that relationship with his son. He wants that opportunity to talk to him and tell him the truth and what the deal. But since that he don't know exactly the course, he needs to figure out that course before he have a sit down. With that, yeah. So with that, so it came to the point where they was outside, and today told her that she want their family to get together because not only for the sake that her uncle and her grandfather get along, for also the family get along, so they can help her in that process because she don't want to fall into the path of drinking and all that stuff and hurting her own son that she has. So she wants that healing, and so they just put down all the demons that they have to let it go and put it in a cage to let that spirit off, to let that demon, the negativity off of you and build to the positive, build to the light, build to that area where y'all can get together, y'all can sit down. It may not be all pieces of cream at first, but at the point where y'all can talk and y'all can have the conversation, y'all can not keep secrets because silence is a deadly weapon in a lot of families. And when family takes to quietness, take to not speaking on the truth, not to face the truth, it leads to hurt, it leads to abandonment, it leads to rage, it leads to emotions going awry, it leads to family going at each other, being divided because nobody will speak the truth. Everybody will bury it instead of talking it out. So when it came to the point where the father and the son Shane to talk, the father came to the realization that he had to dig deeper and realize what led to him to that point. He said he was anger. He was enraged. He felt hurt, felt abandoned, felt alone. So that on top of that, drugs and alcohol amplify his emotions, his decision making that led him to take the gun and go to that because he wanted her back. And at the time he explained that he was doing whatever he wanted to do, sleeping with all different women, and she had another man at the time. And I guess he felt type of way about that. So he came that night, wanted to get her back, wanted sex, and I guess she had rejected him. So since that rejection led him to that blind rage that he said, you know what? I guess his eyes that if I can have you, nobody else will have you, and I was that he took into consideration his son could be there. He took into consideration anybody else in the house. He just went there in a mission to end the lady's life, and he said he didn't mean to do that, and he didn't mean to intend to kill her, but that's what led to happen. So he came to realization that that's the truth. He needs to speak to his son. So when Shane and Bo finally sat down, and Iyanla had the shackles on, beef on them, it's like, this is shackles that y'all wearing on each other. Abandonment, the hurt, the familiar violence, the womanizing, everything that Bo is going through is also trickling down to the son. His rage, his hurt, his loneliness, his fear of wanting, being wanted, his fear that he didn't have any parents growing up, and that he wants that love from parents. He wants somebody. He wants the same Shane. You can tell, looking like a Shane. He wants that connection with his father in some shape or form. After he learns what happened, because he still don't know what happened. So they sat down together, and Shane had a hard time breathing. He was not breathing. He was looking at his father's face, and they was looking at each other's eyes. So you could tell the father wants to make things right, and you could tell he was looking at each other's eyes. He was not diverting his eyes away, and I feel that his father needs to get it out of his chest. So he told Shane that he was angry. He was enraged. He grew up in violence, so that's what all he knows. So he took violence as an answer, as an easy way out to get what he needs to get. But unfortunately, into him killing the mother. He really loves Daisy. That was the mother name, and to gain that, to show that he has been feeling sorry. He was remorseful. He was hurt by what he had done, not only to what he had done to his family, but what he done to his only son, and the fact that he hurt his son and realized he left his son abandoned without a mother and also without a father. It shows that he needs to fix that, and he said he truly sorry. And Shane sees that. He said that's all he really wanted to hear. He wanted to hear that his father was sorry. He wanted to hear that his father was remorseful. He wanted to hear that his father knew about his actions and thought about what he done and repent for that and make up and to go forward. And the father only had asked for forgiveness, and they hug it out at the end. And Shay started breaking out. He said he can't remember the last time he got a hug from his father, and I think he said the last time he remembered was he was 4 years old. So I'll say, wow, to have that much burden over you and to let that release, and you could tell a different release that came out of Shane and the father, that they hugged at that moment. That a powerful moment that sons or boys or young ladies who look for a father, look for the father figure who mostly he absent in their child's life, who wants that love, the feeling that. So Shane needed to say, he said, Shane got on the chest. He said, you left me without my mother. You left me without a father. You left me hurt. You left me alone. I needed you, and you was not there. Because at the time, the father was incarcerated. He had to be in jail, so he couldn't have been around. He couldn't have been around to teach Shane to horse. He couldn't have been around to tell Shane about women or anything about life, about things, to stuff, fatherhood, how to be a man, because he wasn't around. So that moment, that's what he needed. That's what Shane wanted, and I'm glad that he got that out of. He got that out of his father, and then they hug it out, and then we come to update that they are regularly talking now, and they are communicating, they meet each other, and they're making a bond. And I guess that's what is needed. I mean, that healing, I know it's not going to be easy for Shane, but that healing starts that he need that parent figure, and that now that he knows his father is still alive, he can make it work to have the relationship with his father before his father gone. And then he can realize that he's spent all his life hating on his father, and not having getting that opportunity to get that relationship. But I'm glad that Bo and Shane is able to have that father and son relationship. And Iyanla did this exercise at the end, and they can throw frisbee and play sports together. It's like something they never had done when they was younger. And it was light, and you could tell Shane is really in a more happy space. So I enjoyed this episode. Even though it was emotional, I had enjoyed it because it shows something that, yes, something tragic happened, but you can't let that tragic hindering your progress in the future. Let that Not saying that to forget what happened, but also work on better understanding of the person, better understanding the family, better understanding to breaking the silence. Also, sometimes she says in a video that when people say, "How are you?" sometimes they quick answer everybody say, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine," knowing 100%, no 95% of the time you're not really fine. So it's okay to say, "I'm not fine. I'm feeling upset. I'm feeling down. I want to talk to someone," and being that open ear, listen to that person, let the person speak. Because when you want to bury the hatchet and not let people speak, and don't want to deal with the consequences, don't want to deal talking because it's too much for you, then you're never going to heal. And that's the lesson you get out of it. It's like to talk, break that silence, break that unknown, speaking truth that what happened in family nobody needs to know about. No, because sometimes that same thing you're trying to hide is the same thing that's killing your family. So that's what's the thing I came about this episode. I'm glad that they made up. I'm glad that they were able to have a conversation. I'm glad that he could be able to talk to his father and have a better understanding and know that his father was remorseful for what he'd done. And he felt that and the guilt and all the action. So that at the end, at the casket, they both said goodbye to Daisy and put the shackles in the casket and said, "That's it. That's in the past. That's move built in the future." And I'm glad they're having that they're having that father son bond now. And so that was Iyanla Fix My Life. Stay tuned for my other videos. I'm gonna catch up on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, and I also will catch up with another episode in Iyanla Fix My Life. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.